Hello, and I did not turn off the sound on my YouTube.
I was listening carefully for my own.
I wasn't even. My brain was in another place, and I have no idea what was going on. Hello, welcome, happy time zones, all that jazz. It is me and Charlie, and maybe, Chloe, if she can get here. Um, let's see. Kat is at work today, and Amber has left a message for everyone, and I will say this message from her again at the end of the stream. That she is elbows deep into moving things this weekend and will not be joining today or streaming tomorrow, but she will try and do a makeup stream on Monday night. So that is the message from Amber.
I just want her to find a place where she can set up a nest and put up large fortifications to keep the monsters out. Or maybe that's my own personal fantasy.
I mean, it's a big place she's moving to, so it might be a possibility. But, it's one of those things where I wish her all the best in it, but I know how life works, and because it is someone else's house that she is going to be living with and paying rent, things don't always go perfectly.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping there is nothing but peace and harmony there, but I am prepared for it not to be.
Same. So we're over a week out now, almost a week out now from the launch of the Shadow Phoenix Saga, which was wonderfully edited by y'all over at Rose City. And I have to say, the comments I've been getting back on it make me very happy that I'm actually doing this.
Wonderful.
Their motivation to keep moving, because
how many people flipped out about there being a Tugwaddle?
Most of the comments so far have been about, wait, what just happened? Because I'm expecting to hear more later, because the final chapter of Blinded Angels also came out, and so between the two, it's like, I'm really like Raid. Raid's really fun. Is Ellis dead? I'm just like, wait, Ellis isn't in. Oh, you're reading both of them. Hi. Well, I guess you're gonna have to wait till the next set of chapters come out. Wait, what? Yeah, they're written, right? Yes, they just need to be edited.
But you won't tell me?
Nope.
Hello, Devin. And well, you didn't hear your name, you heard your title. Because Charlie has Tugwaddles in Raid. And so people will be seeing them in action, or seeing one in action.
Yeah, I've been writing chapter 13, which is the first chapter in the next book, because I've decided not to renumber the chapters between books, because, well, the world literally ends at the beginning of the next book, and I felt like chapter 13 was perfect for that, so I'm just going to roll with it. And I did not realize what I'm totally not your comfort animal vibes I would be getting from the Tugwaddle in that book, but I'm kind of here for it. It's just like, the world's ending, give me hope. We're like, nah. Like, we're screwed. We're rightly and truly screwed. Like, I am not here to make you feel better. But you know everything. Yeah, that's the problem.
See that jug of rum over there? That's your comfort animal.
I am not. I may be cute and fuzzy, but I am not here to make you feel better now.
Hello, Diana.
Hello, Diana. Hello,
Oh, and
CB.
CB. I know. Are you back, CB?
Mhm.
Because we missed you for a while, and we know where you were, and we're glad to see you back. Um, yeah, we were having a chat right before we went live about the Twitch thing, the Twitch hack,
Uh-huh.
and how all the big to do. Oh my god.
I'm just saying a bunch of people at Twitch are going to get fired over this because they didn't just get the database with all the money information on it. They got all of the usernames, all of the passwords, all of the real names for
Hmm.
people over there. They got all of the money information and they got the full source code for the website. They
Yeah,
literally got everything.
that's not good.
No. And I've noticed that they put some extra security measures in that it will not remember my second factor, which I'm glad that I had, knowing that the passwords got leaked.
Hmm.
But apparently, as I was trying to do stuff today, I signed in so many times because it won't remember that I signed in that it's like you're gonna have to wait. You've used a sign in code too many times in one short period of time. You're gonna have to wait, and I'm just like, but you're making me do that. I'm not doing it because I want to. You
um,
did this to me.
yeah, I'm trying to find in my feed this guy, because I can't quite remember his name because I just followed him on Twitter yesterday.
Mm.
He's the one that put forth the top 100 earners
Oh yeah.
and basically just post after post saying, nope, still white, still male,
Yes.
still white and male, still white and male.
Because you have to get down to what 40? I think 48 is where you find the first female. I think
Something like that.
it's fairly far down, and then you have to go like another like 50 before you find another female, and a lot further before you start finding people of color.
Hmm. And that it is a problem. How do I put this? It is a problem. It is not a problem that Twitch is causing.
It is one that they are exacerbating
Yes. It's
because
one that they're not doing anything to help.
yes,
That is a problem. Um, the problem is still with society.
mm-hmm.
And because Twitch is set up as a popularity contest, um, yeah, it's not going to get better.
Well, especially if they're not going to deal with the harassment that is on their platform. Like a lot of POC streamers have stopped or have
Uh-huh.
left because of the harassment. I know a lot of queer creators have left because of the harassment. I know I have felt the urge to do that from time to time.
Yeah, the harassment it's part of this problem. It's well, one of those. It's a separate problem, but a linked problem.
Yeah, because you can't develop talent if the talent keeps leaving.
Hmm.
Like who knows,
Oh,
who could have
absolutely.
beaten, XQC in the popularity contest because they just gave up because it was just too annoying to be there.
Hmm.
That's not good for your platform, especially since you take half of what we earn. Like, don't you just want us to make more money?
Wait, how far? Okay, I had already found his name. I scroll back up, and his name is gone.
Hi, Sage.
Hello, Sage. Um, and because I have the memory of a guppy,
I wish I did.
you wish your memory was that long.
I wish my memory was that good right now.
because I
most
wanted to
definitely
give
is
this
not.
guy's name out so that people could follow him, and it's gone in my head.
I
Oh,
think there's
there it
gonna
is. The Noir Enigma.
I think there's gonna have to be a lot of changes over there, because not only did they apparently get the code for the Twitch site, they also got the code for the Steam competitor that Amazon's been working on, Vapor.
Ooh.
So like, a lot of heads are going to roll for this, and probably not the people who are actually at fault. It's probably going to be a bunch of low-level people that had been complaining that this was possible and were not allowed to do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's usually how that works in these large corporate things, but they can show that they did something because people got fired.
Yep. We gotta blame someone. But yeah, what I was saying though is that, the thing that the Noir Enigma was pointing out when he made that list, it's not something that Twitch is doing. It's the fact that the way Twitch is set up, it doesn't promote anyone who is less than the top,
Nope.
which means that anyone new at all is not being seen. You have to basically advertise somewhere else for people to see your stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't really have a recommendation system at all. And
the responses that I was seeing to what they posted were sickening. Things just about, well, people, no one's being stopped to watch, the content of people of color. You can't force it down our throats, and it's just like, that's not. No one's trying to do that. The problem is that people of color are not being given a chance. Their viewers are not even opening their channels to see their content. They're just like, whatever.
yeah, and the organization of the site is also not as helpful.
Right.
Just because if you're looking for a specific game, which is generally how you find people, you're looking at one of the quote unquote categories, which are all either games or fake games. All of the top gamers are going to be up on the top. I mean, most of the people that I watch on Twitch are people that I found their YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oh, by the way, did you know I stream on Twitch? And I followed them the other way around, and that's not a good thing for a platform itself. And like, this hack could not have come at like a best worst time, because like, I've been doing a lot of soul searching lately about what I'm going to consider my primary job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is the thing that I'm going to be doing most, and kind of put the other things a little bit lower on the list. And I've been talking about this for a while. I really like streaming, and I've been thinking about going to a much more intense streaming schedule and kind of cutting back on the writing a little bit, and seeing, streaming as the potential day job, if you will, right? And now it's like, would it even matter? Like, would I be able to grow? Would I be able to find an audience over there? Like, you look at the actual numbers, like some of the biggest queer streamers that I know of on the platform, like, they were making good livings. Like, they showed up at like 60K a year. Like, yes, I would love to make 60K a year, but that's like the tippy top ones.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at all the cis straight white people over there, and they're like making in the millions. Like, there's a big difference between, hi, we're making $1.8 million a year to, oh, yay, our top performer's making 60K. Like, wow.
The disparity is huge.
Yeah.
And all the people that were commenting, or well, the negative people that were commenting on the Noir Enigmas post, they were responding to those criticisms as, these giant gamers have earned their place and they deserve what they have. And it's like, but there's no way for anyone outside of that to break in. That's the issue.
Well, see, this is the problem I see in. I'm just going to speak for American society because it's where I live. If it applies to your societies as well, take it, apply as you will. But we really have this like weird great man history narrative that we tell for everything, and it's like XQC is not the biggest gamer on the list because he's so much more talented than everybody else. He was an early adopter of the platform. He was playing the popular games. He figured out how to game the system quickest. It's luck and timing that got him to where he is. I'm not saying that he doesn't have talent. I'm not saying that he's not entertaining or any of those other things, but that's not talent only gets you so far. There's the luck, there's the timing, there's the, being able to hit the wave at just the right point. It's honestly one of the reasons why I am so obsessive about having stuff up on Kindle Vella and trying to build an audience over there.
I was about to bring that up.
Yeah, there's very few writers over there right now, and the number of writers is dwindling, not growing, because a lot of the bigger name writers who came over went, well, I'm not making all the money I thought I would make on this brand new nascent platform that is still in beta that Amazon really isn't promoting. So if it becomes a thing, if I can be one of the bigger writers over there, first mover advantage, that's my luck, right? And so, who knows what would have happened if a lot more diverse audience had adopted Twitch early on in its history, but they didn't. When you look at its history coming from Justin TV and everything, it was originally a website about a boring white dude who literally had a video cam in his shower that auto blurred him, but you could still technically watch a blur with running water. Like, it was a weird site that was very niche and nerdy. Like, it wasn't, its mainstreamification did not come till way late in its history.
And the site itself, the content itself was, let's face it, catered towards a white male audience.
That's why the hot tub meta is all girls. Like, I've challenged people, like, show me the, hot guys in their swimming trunks in the hot tub. Like, where are those channels at?
CB says, in a way, this whole Twitch issue makes me think of how WWE is.
Is it?
Pro wrestling company wise. AEW and TNA won't ever be able to compete with McMahon's buy rate.
It's
true. It's an equivalent thing because
that's why Amazon is king. It's not because they ever provided the best service or were the best thing, but Jeff Bezos, his one brilliant act is he realized that that delivery time was the main factor. And instead of building up the warehouses and all of the other things that every other company was trying to do, he was making deals with FedEx and UPS and and the postal services around the world to get his packages delivered quicker. Like, he just happened to be that guy who was there at the beginning, who happened to luck out and be the one that everybody went, oh, fine. Because I see a lot of people like, Facebook needs to be broken up. Like, yes, but no, like, it won't fix anything. One of those baby Facebooks will be the next Facebook. Because you're going to go to the social network that all your friends are on. That's why so many author tubers are hanging out over on Twitch now, because we used to all hang out over here on YouTube, and then a bunch of us moved over to Twitch.
Yep.
You're going to go where your friends are.
And that goes with the the subscription list. I'm looking at mine, and there are 2 big names, and everyone else is author tubers, just people that I know and have worked with. I'm subscribed to CNE Games, which is the people who create a game that I play every day. So yes, I watch their content because I'm a part of their community. And Blind Wave, which is a reaction channel, and I don't think I've ever watched anything on their Twitch, so I don't know why I'm still following them on Twitch. But every single other person is an author tuber.
And I know I'm probably thinking about this too much right now, but I made the offer on a stream a while back that if anybody wanted me to help them with their business model, I would, because I have expertise in that. And so I have been helping people develop their business models and really questioning my own.
Hey, that comes with anything that you're doing. Business models, and so when you're helping people, with theirs, you start looking at what you've done. It's the same with my editing. So as I'm editing other people's stuff, I'm thinking about my own.
Yep. And Devin, I would actually say MySpace is the proof of all of this, because yes, while they were first, they refused to adapt. They never, when the newsfeed started becoming popular over on Twitter before it did on Facebook, they did not start moving over to that. And for the longest time, you still had to go to all of your friends' pages to see what they were doing. They were evolved out of the space. And that's what it is. Like, I don't know that they would have been any better or worse in the long run, but the one thing that I can say is we need to have some kind of a limit on how many cross channels a company can own, because it is very much a conflict of interest for Time Warner to own HBO and its subsidiary companies and DirecTV and Time Warner Cable and Time Warner Internet. That is a conflict of interest, and that's where the real problems are really creeping in here.
Yes, but MySpace was referenced in Iron Man 1. No other social media platform can say that.
Very true. And then MySpace made the decision to pivot over to a music platform.
Did they?
Yep. And the problem is they did not have the, again, forethought of going the way of Spotify and really embracing that. MySpace is a great example of all the woulda, shoulda, couldas that you can come up with in business, because you can very clearly see all the mistakes they made. They're fascinating.
Fascinating. Nice. Another one would be Gaia Online.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
Major oof.
There are I watched like an hour-long video on the rise and fall of that site.
Yep.
And damn, it was interesting, but
so I'm gonna try to maybe write on this in the sprint. I may write. I may work on some music. I may just stare at my business model and go, "What are you doing with your life?"
I am going to read my client work and hopefully get some distance in there. Time Warner also used to own WCW, sort of.
Yep.
And Disney owns everything.
Yep.
So,
including my heart.
which one is going to subsume the other between Disney and Pornhub?
If MindGeek decides to break out of the silos that they're in, they will take over the internet. MindGeek, the company behind Pornhub, they have been doing some very smart things in the background in a lot of places. And a lot of us use MindGeek things without knowing it because they'd never put their branding forward.
They're clever.
Mm-hmm. They're the secret titan on the internet that nobody knows to blame because they stay very quiet.
So, yeah, if you're wondering who runs your life, it's actually Pornhub.
Yeah, MindGeek is the Illuminati. Like, there's a secret evil cabal that is secretly controlling the universe.
All right, so I am ready to start a sprint.
Let's do it.
Sounds like you are too. So we will go in 3, 2, 1, go. Beep, beep, motherfuckers. Sprint is done. How did people do? I got a sizable amount of pages read, so I'm not unhappy with my performance.
I had a long, protracted debate with myself, and I think I lost, but I may have won, but I don't know exactly if I even made a decision. So I think we both lost.
That was admirably vague.
I basically sat staring at my Twitch schedule for the entire sprint, going, am I adding things to this?
I mean, as much BS has gone down with Twitch this week, it's still better for the people that are streaming than YouTube is.
Right?
So let's keep that in perspective.
Yeah, it's more like, do I want to put in the emotional labor of doing more streams?
I understand that. Ooh,
Like, do I
honey.
have that in me as a thing? What I can do? Because there's basically one stream I've been thinking about for a while, and that's when I go to record the podcast. Why isn't that streamed? Because then I would have a video of it, and I could actually have a chat going during it, which I used to live stream the podcast way back in the day when video streaming was not a thing, but there were audio streaming platforms like TalkShoe that were crap, but they worked. And I'm thinking about, I'm just, thoughts.
Did we mention? Were you in on the discussion of having a GM/DM/storyteller
Yes,
type show? What do you think of that idea?
I do like the idea of that. I think that could be a lot of fun, and that's not just because I saw how much money Critical Role's making. No, I think that could be a lot of fun in a lot of different ways, because I think we all have really entertaining stories about like that one person who memorized the rule book but did not understand it. Like they could quote the rule book chapter and verse, but they had no idea what the rule actually meant. Because I can think of like 30 variations of that one story that are all funny for very different reasons. 2 of which ended up getting the character killed when I was going to let them survive.
Oof.
But they invoked a rule that they didn't understand. And so when we pulled out the book and read it, it was like, oh yeah, fine. I guess you should have died. Bye.
I don't know. I think that's a fun thing that players sometimes do when they put themselves in peril because they want the rules to be followed.
Yeah, because they think that you like cheated them out of some epic thing that they were doing because they misunderstood how the rules actually apply. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. And
I was thinking when they just remind you, like, oh yeah, I also have this injury, and you're just like, oh yeah, I had forgotten about that. Thanks for your honesty, and now you're dead.
But yeah. It's kind of like I wish Earth Dawn was a bigger gaming system, because I would love to just like record videos that are recaps of my first gaming sessions that I ever played in there, because they were wonderful. Because my GM did not understand that I had been playing tabletop role-playing games since I was like 6 years old. So he was like, you're not a combat class. Yeah. You realize this is a combat game. Yeah. You're going to die, right? Nope. And then hilarity ensued. I really want to just recap all of those stories, but like that would also involve like, here, let me explain the world of Earth Dawn to you, or none of these stories will make sense.
No, that just reminds me, I was watching this one video that this lady put out. She's an avid tabletop RPG player, and it was about like her D&D characters and how I think she said like every time she's criticized for picking suboptimal combinations and classes and traits and everything. And she's like, but I'm role playing.
Yeah, yeah. There's the I'm role playing, and there's also the whole no, I have plans for this character that you just cannot envisage yet. And then when he saw how I played that character, he was like, I hate you. I hate you. Are you sure you don't want to just be like a warrior or something? Like, I'm fine.
But I watched that video and was like, you know what? I really appreciate the way she's going about this because she's not doing it. She's not min-maxing to, you know, mow down enemies as fast as possible.
See, that's my favorite thing though, is if I see my players min-maxing, I very carefully craft a game that will just destroy them. Because whatever they're min-maxing for, that's not what they're going to be encountering.
Yes. And on the flip side, if they're making interesting characters, the game's going to be more catered around having them survive and thrive and show those characters off.
Yep.
Always make a good character.
Yes. And that's true on everything. Like, seriously, dear all fantasy writers, I love world building. World building's like my jam. I love lore, all the lore. You've got a conlang, I might actually take the time to learn it because I'm that person. But if I don't care about any of your characters, I'm not going to put the time in.
Yep.
Like that just...
Oh, and by the way, hello, Christina.
Good dinner.
And Diana got some writing done, and CB got reread another chapter of the fanfic, and finished Nanoplan already. So you know what? I think I'm just gonna read for the next couple of weeks when I'm in streams. Yes. Hey, reading is a good way of distancing yourself from the work, so that when it's time to get into the work, it's not all you're thinking of.
Yeah. Again, fantasy. If you know any good fantasy books, sorry, I'm really having a problem with this lately. Like I have DNF'd almost every fantasy series I've started recently.
Oh, well, maybe it's time to read something else because you know why I haven't DNF'd any fantasy series in about 15 years?
Did you stop reading fantasy?
Yep. And you know why I stopped reading fantasy?
Because you were
I had saturated my tolerance for it.
Honestly, I'm seeking non-binary romance stories right now because I need an escape, and they're really hard to find.
And I'd say, well, why don't you write one? But no, you don't need more projects.
I don't need more projects. I mean, I technically am writing one. I kind of want to put Blinded Angels in the romance category because it is a secret romance story. Like the actual heart of that story is a probably love pentagram that will eventually, like, I have a feeling they're not going to be like paired off at the end. They're just going to be like, but we all like each other. Let's orgy. Like, I just, I just feel like that's where that world is naturally heading. But because it's kind of a slow roll on that, I'm afraid to put the tag on it.
And write down 2 words that you just said because it's a great title. Love Pentagram.
I feel like that might be the name of the final book in that series. I really do, because...
Write that shit down.
Yeah, it's actually on my list because Noble Sacrifice is book 1. Book 2 is the Order of the Troublesome Thorn. And by the time we get to, I think, probably 5 or 6, where that storyline will end up, I think Love Pentagram will probably be the new. Because there's a lot of love going on in that thing. Like, there's a lot of it. It's a slow boil. It's not like, it has meet cute. It has several meet cutes throughout it. It's not in any rush to get to the, boom chicka wow wow. There are other things going on.
And I love romance plots. I don't love romance books. Main reason is because I am not a big fan of needing to absolutely stick to a formula or everyone will crucify you.
Oh yeah, and that's why I've not called this a romance. It was conceived of as a romance story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think anybody can read the chapter Gray Skies and not come away from it going, "Ooh, this is a romance book," and Gray and Ellis are so cute together. And then you read the next chapter and you're like, "But Ellis and River are so cute together." And then you read the next chapter and you're like, "Ellis and Peter are so cute together." And you're like, yeah, it's a thing. See the love pentagram forming. But
what would you call that if it's one person in like the middle?
I'm not sure, but that's the thing, is by the time you get to chapter 14, you start seeing that maybe Gray and Peter have a thing going a little, maybe. Like, I just have a feeling like it's going to be a bizarre love clump by the end. This may be my polyam romance series. I don't know. We'll see when we get there.
The whole thing ends in an orgy.
There's a very good chance of that. I've often joked that this is secretly my Dante's Cove. It's just a little bit more subtle about it, but I don't know how long that subtlety is going to last. It's just taking longer for people to take their clothes off.
Hello, Ginny. She says, "You call that a sandwich? I like being in the middle." Not going to argue with that, because yes, please. But
I said yes.
But is it a sandwich when there are 5 pieces of bread? That's the question.
I think that's a salad at that point.
Love salad. So who's getting theirs tossed?
You went to a much more wholesome place than I did. And think about what you said and imagine where my mind went and what I censored. Like, yeah. Chloe, where are you? You need to keep us, like, somebody needs to be here to keep us on the straight and narrow. Because, oh, honey, I'm as crooked and queer as they come. That's a club sandwich. Oh, the stories I could tell you about the nightclub, Jenny. Oh, the stories I could tell you. We need to have like a session at some point. See if I can make you like either wince, blush, or go, "Wow, you're worse than I thought you were."
Oh, apparently Amber can stream tomorrow. Okay. All right. I should go boom. And let us do another summit, not a sandwich, sprint.
I'm going to see if I can accomplish something this sprint, whether that's figuring out my schedule or just going to hell with it and writing more on my book.
Hello,
I want to get this written. I want to get it edited, and I want to get it over to Meadow.
Yeah, I had a topic I was thinking about talking about because, you know, when I'm doing editing work, rants come into my head. So maybe we'll talk about the unnecessary obfuscation thing that people like to do that I find super irritating.
Oh, yeah. For anybody who's going to be reading the Shadow Phoenix Saga, that is not going to be happening. Like, just I hate that trope so much, especially in fantasy. Like, when the bad thing happens, like there's literally a side character there who just goes, "Oh, this is exactly what's happening," because he actually does know, and we find out later why. But like, it's not like, why is there craziness? Yeah, like, no, I want you to know the villainy. I want you to fear it.
Yeah, no, my irritation and what I tend to like say, hey, guess what? This is bad when I'm like talking to clients is when things are obfuscated that don't need to be. It's like clunky, ham-fisted, unnecessary mystery.
I know that one. I have written and read it many times.
It's like, okay, so these two people are together and they're talking about what's in this container, but no one's mentioning what's in the container.
See, that's only fun if they break the fourth wall and they go, seriously, we're really not going to tell you." That's the only time that works, and that usually doesn't work because breaking the fourth wall can be very, very bad.
Hmm. The unnecessary what? It's basically it's a thing that writers do to hide things from the reader, but still bring them up during a chapter. Like something that they want to reveal much later, but they.
The content of the briefcase in Pulp Fiction.
I have not seen that one, so I don't.
Everybody looks into it. Everybody talks about it. Even by the end of the movie, you have no idea what's in it.
Yeah.
It's literally the mystery box MacGuffin that everybody's constantly talking about. And they keep hinting that they're going to show you, and then it's Quentin Tarantino, so you're going to be left disappointed because that's like his oeuvre. But
Because he is disappointment.
yes, and he's the only white man I know who gets to write the N-word that much, and I think we need to talk about that.
Maybe it's because he writes black people saying it.
Just saying, like, it feels weird, like knowing like a white dude wrote all this. Feels weird. I don't know. Bothers me.
But yeah, my point is either A, it's not important to talk about at that moment because, okay, let's be realistic, real world here. You've got two people looking into the same container and they're not going to. The thought of what they're looking at is not going to cross their mind. Like you're in their head.
I was home alone yesterday and got a box and opened it and went, "Oh, tea!" Like I was talking to no one but myself.
But it goes also hand in hand with the issue I brought up last time with the people having a conversation about people who have, I'll say intimate but not romantically intimate, just intimate knowledge of each other and what each other are doing, and yet everything they're talking about in this open conversation is merely there to tell the audience and not to tell each other because they already know this information. So they're just repeating things that they've known forever. See, so what I'm talking about here is sort of the converse of that.
Yeah. Actually, converse, very good choice of wording.
Mm-hmm. Where you're deliberately not talking about something that, or not even not talking about something, you're not thinking about something that you're looking at.
Actually, yeah, I would include that in there. CB, yeah, like yeah, they're on a break, and then we never speak of it again, and then suddenly they're back together and they have a kid and it's fine. Like yeah, it was a big deal. We don't talk about it. We don't talk about why, but it's important. It's called all the female romantic leads in that series decided you're not using me properly. I'm not signing a contract again.
Kind of reminds me of the video I watched this morning, the overly
Oh
sarcastic
yeah,
production video about fridging.
yeah.
Because she
Oh
tore
yeah.
into the MCU about Natasha.
I don't know. I have very different feels about like I celebrate her death now because I'm so mad at Scarlett Johansson for so many things. Yay, she's dead. Bye. Jump off the mountain. Just jump.
But anyway, what I'm talking about is unnecessary mystery. I'll give another example. A character is knocked down and they look up and it's someone they know, and the writer jumps through about 15,000 hoops to not tell the reader who the person is, who this person that the character is looking at and knows.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, that is not the time to hold back on information.
And when we come back, we can talk about that wonderful corollary to this of the person with no name, that everybody knows their name. They're just not telling us.
Yes, that is the same issue. It's like, no, you're not clever. It's not cute. It's just irritating to read.
Yep.
All right.
Robert Galbraith at least gave a reason for why nobody wanted to say Voldemort's name.
Mm-hmm.
It took a while to get there, but eventually we're like, oh yeah, that's why everybody's afraid to say his name. Got it.
Plus, they did tell the reader his name.
Yep.
So it's not the author withholding from the readers.
But that trope is so popular. Like, you don't say the Dark Lord's name.
Mm-hmm.
You don't say who they are. You don't acknowledge them. But why? What are the stakes? I cannot care about the stakes if I don't know what they are.
Oh yes, no question that it has become a pop culture norm.
Yep.
But it is not a writer taboo. Whereas if everyone had been speaking about Voldemort, and never saying his name and not giving a reason, just hiding it from the reader for no fucking reason. It's like, no, you don't need mystery there. All right, are we ready to sprint?
Yep.
All right, in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, sprint is completed. I finished the chapter that I was reading, and I had a minute to spare.
I spent the entire sprint writing the most overwritten sentence I have ever put in a first draft, and I regret nothing.
Metal will grind it down to.
It it really belongs in a book from like the 1950s. Like it's like that quality. That didn't sound good. Uh-oh. I guess that really wasn't good. So while we're waiting to find out what's going on with Jace, hi Chandra. Oh, I have secretly taken over. And
testing.
testing.
Yeah, that was just me unplugging and replugging plugging back in my microphone because and you know how StreamYard says, "Oh, you're not allowed to, test your devices. If you unplug it, you're not in the stream."
Yep.
And yes, hello, Chandra. No,
that actually makes me feel a lot better because it sounded like your roof sprung a leak, and I was like, "Oh, please tell me!" Like the sound that came over sounded like rushing water, like right when you went away.
No, it was a lawnmower.
Oh,
and he decided right when we came back to be directly like 3 feet from my head.
Ooh, Jenny, I hope everything is well.
Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Speaking of tomorrow, session 0 of Sako's Mage of the Ascension game is tomorrow. And I am one of the players in it. And it is at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is directly after Amber's stream, which she is actually having tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, at least that is the current plan.
Yeah, given everything that is going on in my life, I don't know that I have schedules anymore. I'm going to try to stick to them because routine helps keep my anxiety at bay. But
I understand that. Yeah, it's true. It's like yesterday is when my anxiety started picking up. And it's because I slacked off on Wednesday, and Thursday was supposed to be a day of not doing my editing work. And then yesterday I was not feeling well. So that was 3 days in a row of not doing any of my client work. And yeah, I was feeling some high anxiety.
My anxiety is at that wonderfully beautiful level where I just feel like I have a stomach bug, but without any of the ramifications of having a stomach bug. Like I just feel like queasy and just done. Like, can I just go to bed until the world like fixes itself or ends? Don't really care anymore. Just whichever comes first.
Diana says, "I'm good. I stayed in the dark and staved off the migraine last night." That is the most fun game. I have stuff to do, but I can't have any sounds or lights because everything hurts. Why does the world hurt me? And speaking of...
I take moments like that to be like, oh yes, you're right. I have not been meditating enough. Here, let me put my sleep mask on and just like try to achieve Satori. It's the worst time in the world to do it, but it's a good excuse. Like I got to sit quietly in a room with no light. Like, well,
Mm-hmm.
might as well meditate. Why not?
Speaking of things that hurt, I am working the next issue I want to bring up is writers telegraphing their punches so hardcore that there is no way to be mistaken about what they're planning to do.
I don't know whether or not to feel called out about that because I feel like, see, this is where I think beta readers and whatnot are so super important because I feel like I am way over heavy handed on all of the like setups for things. Apparently,
Hmm.
I'm overly cryptic in reality, but I live in fear of like spoiling things too soon.
And yeah, and let's not mix up the last rant with the current rant because they're two separate things. One is about being cryptic when it's not necessary, and the other is being too fucking obvious when you need to be more cryptic. And you have to know when to use one and when to use the other.
So, like in my outline for this series, it is overly cryptic because I have shared it with some people, and just out of concern that it gets leaked out into the world. Well, spoilers are in there. You don't know who they happen to.
Got it.
I know who they happen to, and I know in some instances, depending on how the story's going, it could happen to one or another character. Like all the setups are there. One of something bad's going to happen to one of these two people, and so it leaves it open for me to make that decision at that point in time. But you can't write your story that way. Like you just can't. Like that's fine in your like early thought processes, but
I am only sprinting. I think I'm doing one more sprint, and then we'll wrap up. Because I have been trying to hide it, but my body has been telling me to sleep during most of this stream.
I'm just going to be fighting the urge to put more jack-o'-lanterns in my house in Valheim. There's already too many. They made it too easy. It's like two easy things to get. It's do you have resin? Yes, everything drops resin. We have so much resin. We've literally been sacrificing it to Thor, and he's getting kind of pissed at us for constantly like, please eat our resin. And turnips, which grow really, really easily. It is just like, I'm going to put jack-o'-lanterns everywhere. And I have. And I just want to do more of that.
Charlie,
There's a
you
very
should
good
put more.
there's a very good chance. It's like, that's all I want right now is just be like, and you get a jack-o'-lantern, and you get a jack-o'-lantern, and you get a jack-o'-lantern. Like I honestly thought about just to bother Brian to like sneak on the server while he's at work and like go into the areas of the swamp that he's been running around in and like hide jack-o'-lanterns all over the place so that while he's like running around, like all of a sudden there's like a creepy glowing face staring back at him. But I have not done that yet. I might.
So
I have not done that yet.
I just thought of an example of, a very badly telegraphed thing. So, okay, you have a dowager queen from another country. Like, she was the queen. She was a queen. Son is king now. She is like retired queen, and they're visiting as on an embassy, and your main character is a commoner and is somehow talking to the Dowager Queen, and the Dowager Queen mentions that her daughter went missing 26 years ago. How old are you?
Oh, how mysterious.
It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You just flat out told me this girl's royalty.
See, apparently I'm a really bad judge at this because, like, I do not like Westworld, and it's because I find it very poorly written. Because when I watched the first episode of season 1, I went off on a tirade and predicted everything that was going to happen in season 1, including its twist ending. Like, it's so obviously set up and they just like, why is this so poorly written? And like, apparently I'm the only person who did that. Because everyone I've talked to about this was like, wait, what? Like, yeah, it's like Tale of the Body Thief, one of the worst telegraphed books. Like, you read chapter 1, you know how the book's going to end.
Mm-hmm.
you know all of the twists, all of the turns, just yeah. And you could have done so much better.
Oh, these kids are working with poison, identifying poisons in this chapter. Okay. Oh, here's another chapter, and they are working on expunging poisons from liquids. Someone's getting fucking poisoned later on in this book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, where's the subtlety?
See, the worst part is when you get called out for overwriting a red herring, because that's also really easy to do because you want to put options in so people don't see exactly where things are going.
Right.
But, you know, I can see how some people would have thought it might have been a better story if it went the other way.
But, the opposite problem is having no red herrings.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm dealing with right now.
Mm.
And it's just like, I know everything that's going to happen.
Well, at least it's not the J.J. Abrams method of storytelling where everything's a red herring because they literally throw a dart at a board to find out how it actually resolves.
Mm-hmm.
Or, well, what was it? Season 4 of Riverdale? Everyone's the serial killer. Yay! You're a serial killer, and you're a serial killer. Everyone.
Oh, is that what happened?
I think that was in season 4. They had so many, like, because there was the everyone's the serial killer season, and then there was everyone's the secret cult leader season, and it's just like it's kind of like Pretty Little Liars, where they've finally told us, this is who who A is, and you're like, oh, okay, well that kind of makes sense. Oh, and this person's also A. Wait, what? And this person, wait, what? Yeah, they were actually a secret cabal that makes absolutely no sense if you rewatch any of the early seasons. But we got to keep the show spicy.
So it's a matter of lost-itis.
Yeah, by the time you get to the end of that series, like everyone was the bad guy, everyone, and half of them, like, there's no way to justify it at all. It is a masterclass in like, wow, you really didn't think anything through at all.
There's something else I wanted to bring up, but I can tell you after the stream because it's not something I want to broadcast.
So the moral of the story is, if you're going to have a big twist, know why and what the ramifications are. Don't just put it out there and be like, it's fine, we'll figure it out later.
Are we ready for sprint number 3?
Sure, let's see if I can overwrite another sentence. I'm sorry, Meadow. I know you can't hear me right now, but I'm sorry in advance.
Oh, I see. I'm not sure what she loves to do. I was gonna say, but she loves chopping down the sentences to make them manageable. But that's line editing. And I'm going to say right now, I'm not a fan of line editing. I do line editing. I do line editing, and I just buckle down and do it. But oh my god, is it tedious?
I don't know what you're talking about. I think that's everyone's favorite part of the editing. I can't even. I tried. To.
I can't say that with a straight face.
No. I tried.
No, line editing is just going back to English class for every sentence in a book, and it is. It's a hard pass for me, but I will do it if you pay me to, because that is what working is.
Preach.
All right, we will sprint in 3, 2, 1, go.
Beepity beep, beepity beep, beepity beep, beepity beep, beepity beep, beepity beep, beepity beep.
Beep. Okay, that button. Okay. Oh, I was dozing off during that one.
I was concerned, which is why I started making noises.
No, I was. I closed my work and was looking at a Facebook thing.
And that was your first mistake.
It was just a mini interview with Freeman. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. A Gaiman?
One of my favorite characters from Sense8. Yes.
One of my favorite companions from Doctor Who.
Yeah, also Doctor Who, but like I loved her everything on Sense8.
um, it was her talking about the racism she got from
Oh,
during
I
Doctor Who.
can imagine.
She said from a certain section of the fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Because that section of the fan base has not shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
And just because they're not talking about Martha anymore doesn't mean they're not.
I loved Martha. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
She's not my favorite companion. That has to go to Donna, just because I feel like of all of the Doctor Who companions I've seen, I love her arc. From the
Yes.
Runaway Bride all the way through to Dr. Donna. Like, just,
Mhm.
oh my goodness. It's so heartbreaking and wonderful. And
It is. It's a
so
very
well done.
amazing uh,
But of the
story
new
arc.
ones, especially of the new ones, like, yeah, Martha has to come in second because, one, I never liked Rose.
Same.
And I've met Karen Gillian, which clouds my feels about Amy Pond. So,
How so?
you know the seasons after she becomes like famous,
Uh huh.
Karen Gillian wasn't acting. They were just like, be yourself on set, honey. At least that's how she was at the thing that I saw her at, and it was very off-putting.
Got it. Yes, Martha is also my second favorite behind Donna. Mostly because you could trust Martha to have your back
Yep.
competently. Like, not just, you know, in words, I support you. No, she could get shit done.
See, if we're gonna like, if we broaden it out to all Doctor Who, including classic, they all get pushed down a notch because I still think Tarlo is the best companion that the Doctor ever had, because he was secretly working against the Doctor the whole time
Uh-huh.
and not of his own free will. And the like struggles that he went through and everything, like, because the Doctor's companions are usually his companions, and it was so refreshing to see one that was being forced to basically stab the Doctor in the back at every turn. And I like that. That was interesting. Surprised
Yes.
they've never revisited that.
Yeah, no, that's not what they did with Adam.
Mm-mm.
That was just a short little, hey, this is what happens when someone tries and just doesn't make the cut.
Yep. Yeah, because he had like extended plot arcs, and
Hmm.
you got to see the whole thing from like how he got into trouble, how he essentially sold his soul to the Doctor Who equivalent of the devil, and all the things that he really did not want to do and had to do because he was afraid of sacrificing himself. And it's a nifty story arc.
I haven't watched Classic Who,
That would
but
be in the Peter Davidson years.
I have seen pictures and I've read tiny little synopses of each companion. And Turlo is also the hottest
Agreed.
Oh my god.
But they really the other thing is that they've never revisited the Guardians of Time, which is the plot arc that he played the biggest part in, who are the thing above the Time Lords.
Ah. Ooh.
They're
Sorry.
basically the gods of the Doctor Who universe. There's a good one and there's a bad one. And yeah, that was a fun series. That was a fun set of episodes.
Were those the guys where one was dressed all in black and one was
Yep.
dressed all in white?
Yep.
And did they go by the regular tropes of white is good and black is
Oh
evil?
yeah. Except for every now and then the Dark Guardian would show up dressed as the good one because they were played by the same actor. And of course, nobody was smart enough to tell them apart.
Sorry, it's a not the greatest in hindsight. Looking back, and always white is good and black is evil.
Yeah. It's actually really interesting watching this getting kind of flipped on its head. As somebody who spends a lot of time in theological circles, it's very interesting hearing people highlighting passages of scripture and others, both from the Bible and other sacred texts, that are very strong about the idea of the darkness in which God dwells. And dark is really starting to be like dark is the new light. It's really interesting because it
Cool.
no longer is either bad. They're different things, and it's a really interesting thing that is percolating there, and I'm starting to see it pop out in culture in different places. It's an interesting thing.
It sounds like it. Yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say. I'm at the point where I can't form a full thought anymore.
I understand that.
So I think we are going to go ahead and outro.
Alrighty. You want me to go just do it?
Sure.
All right. Hi, my name is Charlie. I have a new Vela project up. It's called the Shadow Phoenix Saga, and if I can say in my humble opinion, it's amazing. It's my favorite thing that I've ever written, and I love this setting ever so much, and I hope you all do too. I'm currently looking for alpha readers for 3 books that are finished in the setting that, because of world building changes, need some major rewrites. Because, well, the murder radishes, the tugwaddles, like a lot of things that have become like core to the setting didn't exist when those books were written. And I'm looking for some people to give me some ideas of what else might want changing. I mean, if I'm going to be doing structural rewrites, let's see if there's anything else that needs to be done while I'm in that process. So if you're interested, let me know, DM me, and I can set you up with a copy so that we can start playing with those. They are darker stories. They deal with a wonderful character named Shinobu and his relationship to a certain god of death, who I'm rather obsessed with. She's kind of amazing. And you will actually meet her in the other series as well, because she's an interesting character. So let me know about that. I also stream over on Twitch. I am going to say 3 days a week, but I don't know when the third day is going to be. I've decided I'm going to start recording the podcast live over there. I'm looking at like everybody's schedule and going, am I going to be talking over somebody or trying to squeeze in somewhere? Yay. But I will be recording the podcast over there at some point, TBD. I will put it on the schedule on the Twitch page when I figure it out. But normally I stream at 5 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays and Fridays. And it's fun, it's chaotic, and somehow we get stuff done. And a lot of times it's like a mutual support and mutual aid organization where we just get together, commiserate, and help each other through with our projects. And that is magic, and I love it. And I wish I could take credit for it, but y'all are just too awesome.
All right, and I am Jace Maxwell, author and editor, and streamer. and I will leave you today. I'll see you tomorrow on Amber's stream, because the current thought is that she is going to actually be able to stream. Um, and then following that, I will be on session 0 of Sako's Mage the Ascension tabletop RPG. And I will leave you with Sushi Penguins.